Welcome to the US Daily News YouTube channel. Ukraine's operation to reclaim Russian-occupied territories continues at full speed. The offensive units of the Ukraine armed forces continue to advance in the direction of Berdyansk as part of their offensive operations. The Ukrainian army launched a massive counter-offensive by reaching a sufficient level of striking power and weakening the Russian infrastructure sufficiently. Russian troops are advancing step by step towards their goals. With the offensive, they started in this direction. According to the latest information from the front, the defense forces of Ukraine made gains in the offensive operation in the direction of Berdyansk. Especially last month, the Ukrainian armed forces took control of an area of up to 3 square kilometers in the Berdyansk region. After these advances, the operations of the Ukrainian forces towards the region became more daring. Fighters of the 36th Marine Brigade, named after Rear Admiral Mikhailo Belinsky, destroyed a Russian Ka-52 attack helicopter with the Javelin anti-tank missile systems in the Berdyansk region. The brigade's press service announced this on Facebook. Russia's biggest predator is on the hunt now. Now the Kremlin has one less Ka-52 Crocodile at its service. It has been confirmed by Dutch open-source organization Oryx that 37 helicopters have been destroyed so far, since the conflict that began when the Kremlin launched its invasion for no reason in February 2022. One of the Crocodile reconnaissance attack helicopters was destroyed by Russian forces in the undisclosed area last month. The Wagner Group also shot down a Ka-52 Crocodile near the village of Talovaya in the Voronezh region during its short-lived rebellion. The Kamov Ka-52 Crocodile is a two-set variant of the Kamov Ka-50 Black Shark single-seat attack helicopter. Both models use a distinctive coaxial rotor system developed by the Kamov Design Bureau, HE. The original Ka-50 first entered service with the Russian army in 1995 and served as a heavily armed reconnaissance helicopter. The Ka-52 Alligator was developed in the mid-90s and went into mass production in late 2008. Russian state media launched the Ka-52's capabilities and stated that platforms were developed to destroy tanks, armored and unarmored vehicles, manpower, propeller vehicles, and other enemy aircraft in all weather conditions on the front line and at tactical depth. Its unique coaxial rotor system and enhanced longitudinal control allowed the helicopter to maneuver effectively and perform complex aerobatic operations. Alligator is reportedly equipped with modern avionics. The Ka-52 has a radio-electronic protection system, as well as low-signature device to reduce, dissipate and disrupt the thermal trace of the engine, while having active countermeasure capabilities. However, as recent losses in Ukraine indicate, even this peak predator can be hunted. Russia has lost a total of 309 Russian rotary aircraft to date. It is also reported that Ukrainian forces have gained about 13 kilometers on the front in recent days and are making progress despite heavy resistance. Ukraine Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar stated that the defense forces continue to attack on the Melitopol, Berdyansk and Bakhmut fronts. Hanna Maliar stated that the Ukrainian forces took back every meter of the homeland from the enemy in tough battles. On the other hand, the Ukrainian armed forces continue their fierce clashes on the eastern front line. The past day, the Ukrainian armed forces carried out a massive HIMARS raid along the entire eastern contact line. The first target was Donetsk, the largest Russian logistics center in the occupied territory. Donetsk is one of the largest cities in Ukraine by size and is by far the most industrialized city. This means that the Russians have very well-developed logistics, which they gladly use to hoard and store ammunition and equipment. The images were quickly geolocated, and the target turned out to be pretty obvious. Ukrainian troops hit the warehouse of the Sarmat factory, located just 100 meters from the rail link. Russian sources stated that the Ukrainian forces used 2 HIMARS rockets to hit the vehicles. Some sources reported that the Ukrainians managed to destroy the newly arrived equipment. The second target was the twin city of Donetsk, Makivka. Geolocated images show a powerful explosion on the territory of the metallurgical plant. The facility itself is extremely spacious. That's why the Russians used to hoard tons of ammo. Russian sources reported that the Ukrainians launched 2 HIMARS missiles here as well, and even claimed that one of the missiles was shot down. However, that didn't change anything. The explosion was so powerful that smoke covered several cities. Sources affiliated that the Ukrainian army confirmed that Ukrainian troops had recently successfully hit a Russian ammunition depot that had received a large amount of supplies. These attacks were aimed at reducing available Russian resources on the Eastern Front to undermine Russian defensive capabilities, especially around Bakhmut. Creating short-term ammo and ammo deficits can create an excellent window of opportunity for advancement. Because, as you can remember, the Ukrainian troops have only one fortification left to overcome before they can spread south of Bakhmut. Some analysts have claimed that the ammunition depots that the Ukrainians are targeting with their HIMARS today mainly contain artillery shells. And this seems to be true, because at the same time, the Ukrainians began to use HIMARS very often for effective counter-battery fire. The Ukrainian 43rd Artillery Brigade released a video showing how they hunted Russian artillery with their HIMARS on the southern flank of Bakhmut. The first target of the Ukrainian troops was the Gvozdelka system near Zatsieve. The second target was the Grad multiplier launch rocket system near Kodema, and the target of the HIMARS missile was Gvozdica. As you can see, all these systems were providing support to the Russian troops precisely in the fields of the Ukrainian advance. However, Ukrainian HIMARS teams also launched a series of attacks on Bakhmut's northern flank. Here, Ukrainian troops hit the 2S-5 Giants S system near Bakhmutske, the BM-21 Grad multiplier launch rocket system nearby, the second Grad at Pokrovske, the third Grad south of Pokrovske, and D-20 Howitzer near Pitgorodne, and the M109 Howitzer. In general, judging by the only available footage in the last 2 days, Ukrainian troops destroyed 90 Russian artillery systems of various types. This is extremely important because enemy artillery is the main factor slowing down Ukrainians' advance. If we combine the fact that the Ukrainian troops destroyed almost a dozen Russian artillery systems and the fact that they blew up several large ammunition depots near Bakhmut, we can see that the Ukrainians quickly created very favorable conditions for a breakthrough. Russia, on the other hand, lost more than 20,000 men in 6 months to secure its prestigious victory in capturing the city of Bakhmut. Now, Ukrainian soldiers are reversing casualties in fierce and close combat. Ukrainian infantrymen recaptured lost ground around Bakhmut, the regional center of Donbas, after a series of fierce, short-range attacks. According to reports and official statements published on Tuesday, July 4, Kiev forces advanced by about a kilometer. Kiev forces crossed an important canal and secured parts of the battlefield city that the Kremlin had been fighting to capture for nearly 6 months. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said on July 3 that Kiev troops have achieved the largest territorial gains since the start of the summer offensive near the village of Klishivka, south of Bakhmut. Hanna Maliar stated that Ukrainian armed infantry and assault infantry units are also slowly advancing towards the strong Russian defense in the north of the city. Service members of the armed forces of Ukraine posted on social media that the infantry aboard the armored carrier had crossed the tactically important Seversky Donetsk Canal, south of Bakhmut. Service members reported that at one point, Ukrainian foot patrols had infiltrated built-up areas of the city. Posts shared on social media platforms stated that the Ukrainian attacks advanced about a kilometer and captured Russian weapons, ammunition, and prisoners of war in the process. The commander of the group component of the Ukrainian armed forces, General Alexander Syrsky, visited the positions near the front line in the Bakhmut region on Monday, July 3rd. The Bakhmut front again became the arena for active hostilities. It's pretty hot in there right now. Both sides are trying to seize the initiative to turn the situation in their favor. Syrsky noted that Russian troops were holding on desperately to positions and forts previously occupied by Wagner Group fighters. The general reported that events were developing and changing very quickly. He stated that some positions changed hands twice a day. Syrsky stated that Russian forces tried to retake the positions lost near Chasiv Yar, west of Bakhmut, but were unsuccessful. Kiev troops are digging. Syrsky stated that they will protect their positions while the attacks against the depth of Ukraine's Bakhmut region continue. A statement issued by the General Staff of the Ukrainian Army on Monday reiterated Syrsky's official line. On the flanks of the city of Bakhmut, the Ukrainian armed forces continue to put pressure on the Russian troops and push them out of the positions they previously captured. Ukrainian forces are successful. They are strengthening themselves. In the statements made by Ukrainian Army General Staff, it was reported that Russian troops resisted and suffered heavy losses. Russian scorching ground tactics and human wave attacks against the deadly Ukrainian defense virtually destroyed Bakhmut in almost 6 months of fierce fighting. Kremlin forces declared the city victoriously liberated in late May. Moscow officials later admitted that the casualties for capturing the city were at least 20,000. According to the Kremlin official narrative, Ukraine's loss of Bakhmut was the most significant Russian victory since the beginning of the war. According to independent analysts, the capture of the city was a classic description of a Pyrrhic victory for Moscow. It seems that Moscow's shouts of victory in the city were short-lived. Thank you for watching us.